Hello, friends. How's it going out there in the interwebs? Looking forward to seeing you all today. I got another by special request, by special demand. I have a topic for you all today. Did TEDx reject your application? Did TEDx reject your application? If so, listen, y'all, listen. I have come up with the perfect way to diagnose what to do in this kind of situation. Okay. So if you're popping in, today's session is going to be, this is going to be a zinger, y'all. Let me tell you, because this is absolutely brand new training. But what I've done is I've created a self-diagnosis for you to figure out what the heck to do if you have been in the situation where, and this could be applied for anything. If you have applied to South by Southwest, if you applied to TED, if you applied to TEDx, if you're trying to figure out what the heck went wrong with my application, I have come up with a tool that will help you diagnose what you need to do to tweak your application to make it better. Okay. So if you're getting a lot of values from today's session, make sure that you tag your friends, make sure that you drop a comment, because I will be checking back on the comments after we kind of like get into the swing of things. Let me know that you're around, because today it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited about what's popping off. So if you are in the audience and you have applied to TED or TEDx or one of these events before and you've been rejected, let me tell you, you're not alone. Okay, you, my friend, are not alone. When I first applied to TED back in 2013, straight up rejection. And the thing the thing about these rejection letters, it's like they're very standard, right? They're just like, you know right away, right freaking away what's going on, because the title will say something like, "We regret to inform you," and you just know, you just get a standard, you get a standard letter, right? But then there are things that you can do that we're going to be talking about today that can make a world of a difference for your application. So I just want to like get into it. And if you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in below. If you have any comments, make sure that you tag a friend so that we are sharing the love, because I want to make sure that if spring is your season, if 2023 is your year, let's get you on that dream stage. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Oh, and by the way, if you are checking this out on IG, you might want to check out the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group. Okay. Ideas that what? Ignite, right? Because that is exactly the place where we share all the slides. This is the logo, Ideas That Ignite. Yes, yes, yes. So we're just about to get started. Welcome, 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 everybody. So glad to see you all. All right. So key number one is I want you to check your messaging. Check your messaging. Okay. Now, what does this mean? And I put this slide up for you, for those of you who are on the other platforms, to be able to check this out. But I want you to be able to do one of 5 things if you need to check your messaging. If you've been denied, there might be a reason why. One of the key reasons why is you're unable to articulate your message in one clear, succinct sentence. Okay? One clear, succinct sentence. I want you to be able to do that very succinctly, because if you can't do it, I mean, you're the one presenting the idea, okay? But the reason why I mention this is because oftentimes in your application, you will need to be able to say your idea in one sentence, okay? So key number one, can you do it in one sentence? Can you explain it to somebody who has a 5th grade level? If my nephew were to run into this office right now, could I explain my idea to him as if I were just talking to him, and really explain it in a way that makes sense, okay? Answer honestly. Answer honestly. This is a self-assessment that we're doing here today. Okay, self-assessment. I want you to think, is the idea innovative? Is it new? Is it a new perspective? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think that, that a TED or TEDx talk needs to be a grandiose idea. When in reality, I want you to think about temperatures. Can you really feel the difference between 86 degrees and 87 degrees in the summertime? Maybe slightly. Maybe slightly. That slight iteration might be the key to your TED or TEDx talk. Okay, it doesn't have to be a grand idea. It could just be a slight iteration, a slight change to the way that we think about things. Okay, but it has to be something that's slightly different, slightly newer than other things that we've seen before. Okay. Fourth, if people were to adopt your idea, if people were to adopt your idea, would their lives be better? Would their lives be better? I want you to think about that honestly. Like, if people were to actually adopt your idea, would their lives be better? Right? I think that they would, Nefertiti. I think that they would. But you have to be honest with me. Be honest with me because that's exactly what we're doing here. It's a self-diagnosis, okay? I feel you, queen. I feel you. I see you. What's up? What's up? And last but not least, when it comes to checking your messaging, I want you to ask yourself, is this really sparking intrigue or interest or curiosity for those who are like outside of my industry, for those people who like don't necessarily know me? Does this cause intrigue? Does this cause them to ask you questions about it? Because that is going to be a good sign that yes, this is a topic that is indeed on point when it comes to the messaging. Okay, on point when it comes to the messaging. So that's the first thing. The first, very, very first thing that I want you to do is to check your messaging. Okay. Now, the second thing that we need to do if we're trying to diagnose what exactly may have gone wrong, if you've applied before to TED or TEDx, is I want you to ask yourself, are you are you the right messenger? Truly. Once again, we're doing a self-diagnosis here. If you've ever applied to something like TED, TEDx, South by Southwest, a college, a university, a job, these all apply. But specifically today, we're talking within the guidelines of like these major big stages. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, do you have the background, the expertise, or the credentials to talk about the issue that you're actually presenting to the stage? Okay. So if you think about what TED, like the origins of it, uh, they started off looking for people who were like world class experts who knew how to tell a good story and knew how to present an idea, right? And so they typically like looked for people already out in the ethers, already people who were like out in the universe who knew about these topics. And then that's why they would get these emails. And you've probably have heard about people receiving a call from TED or an email from TED asking like, "Yo, can you talk about this on your stage?" Right? That happens because these people have the credentials. They have the expertise. They've seen them on some type of stage before, right? In your case, you might need to show them what your credentials are. Since you're applying, which is one of the things I talk to people about in terms of actually getting on a TED or TEDx stage, is how to apply to these events. So you need to be able to show that you have some type of expertise or background in your area of expertise, and not that you just read a book about it. Okay, you can't just like read a book about a topic and call yourself the expert. There's going to be a lot of fact checking in this process, so just want to put that straight up, clear as day. Okay. On top of that, can you show social proof? Can you show social proof? The number one thing that curators and people who are going to be looking you up are going to be looking for, it's not your social media profile. You might think it's your social media profile, your LinkedIn profile. It's going to be your own website. Okay. It's going to be your own website. Now, some people may not have your own website, but you might have like your own podcast, your own show, your own reoccurring event. When I personally applied, I showed them that I had an event called Barbershop Stories, which was a show in Brooklyn where we would like get all these people and like pack them into these barbershops, these black barbershops around Brooklyn and Harlem, and we would put these events on like every single month. So that was one of the things I was able to use, to show like, hey, I have something that's mine in addition to my website. But so if you have a podcast or an event, or if you have a book, something else that shows social proof, you're on point. Okay. The third thing I want you to think about in terms of if you are the right messenger is, can you, oops, okay, there we go. Sorry, lost y'all for a second there. Um, can you make sense? Uh, is your idea being presented in a way that's new or innovative? Is it being presented in a way that's new or innovative or fascinating? You know, does it spark curiosity for people who are not part of your industry? Okay. I want you to think about, are you the right messenger for these type of events, right? Once again, experts that know how to tell a good story, right? So glad to see you all popping into the chat. Just to catch you up to speed, we're talking about all the different ways that you can self-diagnose if you have been rejected. If you've been rejected by TED or TEDx or one of these like major speaking events, this is a self-diagnosis. This is a way for you to say, because the thing is, like, a lot of times you are not going to get any type of feedback in terms of like why your application was rejected. Like, straight up. You're just not going to, okay? But feel me out here. I was rejected. Well, I was rejected once before actually getting onto the stage of the TED. Some people apply and apply and apply. I do not want you spending years of your life on this, okay? So this is the way to self-diagnose some of these issues. So we've talked about, are you the right messenger, right? And are you sharing the right message? Okay, cool. So give me 1 second here, because I'm just realizing that my slides are not correct. What is going on, interwebs? What is going on? Give me 1 second here to just make sure that this is the right information, because this does not look right. Okay, let's see. Are we back on? Yes. Oh no. Somewhat, somewhat. All right. Sorry for the hiccup here, ladies and gents. This is real time. This is what happens in the real world. But let's see. Let's make sure that we are back online. I'm going to show you, for those of you who are in in LinkedIn or on Facebook, you'll see what's going on here in just a second. Okay. And if you're interested, you can also check this out over on Ideas That Ignite on Facebook, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can just find me at Dawn Fraser. So we're going to try this one more again. Remove that. And let's try one more time. Thanks for your patience, y'all, as I fix a couple of little weird snafus on my slides. It was showing me the 7 types of TED Talks, which was actually a previous presentation. So let's make sure that we're on the right presentation for today. Let's add that. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, there we go. Yes. All right. We're back in business. Thank you. Thank you, Ayoka. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We just had a couple of technical snafus. But what we're doing today is we're diagnosing what may have gone wrong if you receive an application that is denied. If you're denied from TED, you're denied by South by Southwest, if you're denied by any of these major speaking platforms, this is the best way to diagnose what you can do and where you might need to make some tweaks for that next round. Okay. So the third thing that we want to address here are compatibility issues. Now, here's the thing, like, for many events, especially when it comes to TED and TEDx, some of them are going to be very specific about geographic location. So for example, if you're based in Brooklyn, New York, and there are a ton of events around New York City, some of them are going to be looking for locals. TEDx Harlem, perhaps. TEDx Fulton Street, perhaps. I'm not so sure, but you want to make sure that if they are looking for people from that geographic area, you're not trying to just shoehole yourself in, okay? Now, for example, I do have some people who I know of who have spoken at TEDx London, for example, or TEDx Houston, even though they may have lived in Massachusetts, okay? Every event is going to be different. Some are really looking for those local experts, okay? So I want you to find what are those local TEDx events for you, because those are going to be the ones that you're going to have a higher probability of actually getting into, okay? Specifically when it comes to TEDx. And then the other ones that you have an affiliation to. So perhaps you went to school in Georgia, and so you can apply to, like, your alma mater, or maybe there's another place where you actually have like a family or friends, or like if you've lived somewhere, right? These are going to all affect your compatibility. Because remember that oftentimes we're looking for local speakers who can talk about a global event. Okay, local speakers think locally, act globally. All right. So I want you to think about, are you truly compatible for what the curators are looking for? Um, the second thing to think about in terms of compatibility is the theme. Now, for many events, many events, you'll notice that the themes are actually quite broad. They might just be like kaleidoscope was the most recent one that I went to at TEDx Berkeley. Okay. Um, and some of them just call themselves ideas worth spreading, right? But then other ones are very, very specific. They might be around technology, like if you're in the Bay Area, or they might be around culture, or they might be around the environment, right? So some of them have very specific themes. So I want you to make sure that you're applying to one of these events that A, you match the theme, B, you match the geography if they are looking for like specific people within a specific geography. And that three, you just have like the overall package of who they are looking for in terms of if it's an industry city, if it's an industry event. There's a lot of different criteria that go into these things. So good to see you all. So glad to see that you're taking notes. Make sure, y'all, that if you're enjoying today's content, if you know somebody who is looking to apply to TED or TEDx, this is the time. This is the time, y'all. Okay, so make sure that you're sharing these videos, dropping in the comments, and so I know exactly how to serve y'all. Because today's talk came directly out of a question from somebody who was like, John, like, what do I do if I've already applied to TED or TEDx and I've been rejected? And I realized that there's quite a few of you who are in that situation. So the third thing was compatibility issues. Third of five. Okay. So we're on number four. The fourth thing that I want you to think about are what are the different guidelines, that TED and TEDx have that you might need to address within your own application. Okay. So for example, one of the big no's when it comes to these applications is pseudoscience, right? So anything that cannot be backed up by reputable science, right? Things that cannot be proven are not going to be accepted. Straight up. Okay. Does it have a political angle? That's going to be like another issue. Um, and so we want to like look at, do you actually have the criteria in mind when you're applying? Because if you don't, it's going to be a hard no, it's going to be a fast no, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay. And then last but not least, have you been in touch with anybody from the curation team? Or have you actually been to this particular TEDx event? Right? If you are living in an area where there is a TEDx event within a 50-mile radius, I highly suggest that you go and check those out, because those are going to be the events. Like, think of it as a community. It's a community of speakers, it's a community of people. And so we want to be able to like curate a community of people who are thinking about improving their lives. So go meet those curators, go to those events, talk to some people, okay? Because that is going to help, just like amp up your visibility, your name recognition when you actually apply. Okay. And man, uh-oh. The dog is going a little bit crazy. Shh. Okay. And the last but not least, I see what's going on here. I'm having a couple of snafus on the computer side, y'all. Not so sure what happened. But the slides today are not working in my favor. Nope. Straight jumped right over it. So gonna go back to my paper notes. Let's see. Let's go back to my paper notes. Because the last thing that I wanted to talk about is actually packaging. So I'm gonna go ahead and take down these slides on what's up, peeps? What's up, people? Having a couple of technical glitches today with some of the slides, so it's all good. The last thing though that I wanted to talk about is your packaging. It's the packaging of your actual application. So the very first time that I applied, I wanted to emphasize everything that was like badass about me, which is, and you kind of like want to do that to show like, hey, I deserve to be on the stage. My idea is worth being accepted, right? And so I tried to highlight all the things that were great about myself, but what happened was it was disjointed, right? I was talking about the fact that I was a storytelling coach with an organization called the Moth. I talked about my graduate degree in leadership, which had nothing to do with my idea. uh, so I was throwing out all these things in a way that was kind of disjointed. And so the last bit of this equation is I want you to think about, is my stuff actually like put together in a very succinct way? And the way what we call this is the through line. Not only is it the through line for the written content, but it's the through line for everything that you're putting together between your written material, your video, your audio, like anything that's required as part of your application. I want you to think about like what can that how can it be all kind of like intertwined together? Okay. So 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 these are the five main things that I want you to keep in mind. If you applied to like any of these events, it's so hard to know what to do. It's so hard to know what to do because you just get a blank rejection letter. You just get a blank rejection letter. So these are the five things, just to recap some of the things that we talked about today. The five things that I want you to lean into. Number one, I want you to check your messaging. Check your messaging. The key in all of this is to make sure that you can properly articulate exactly what your idea is, clearly articulate what your idea is in one sentence, be able to articulate that to a fifth grader succinctly, calmly, with conviction, right? And make sure that it's something that's new. It's an iteration. It's an angle that we haven't yet been presented to like regular people haven't really heard about this yet. Okay, it's just on the right when you're on a wave and you're about to crest. You want to be riding that wave. Okay, so check your messaging. That's key number one if you've been rejected. Okay, key number two. Key number two, y'all, and be brutally honest with me here. Are you the right messenger? Are you the right messenger? Can anybody else deliver this message? Or is it is it a staple message that anybody can deliver? If it is, then we gotta fine tune, we gotta peel back, right? Can you show proof? Can you actually show me proof that you have been talking about this idea or working on this idea, and not just some reading a book about it and talking about it with your homies? Okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Okay. Um, and then, of course, we want to make sure that you have an active social media account so that you can be Googleable so people can actually research who you are. So, are you the right messenger? Key number two. Key number three, key number three, the guidelines. I'm sorry, the key number three is actually compatibility issues. Are the curators looking for people like you? You know, are they looking for people like you? Some TEDx events might be really heavy on certain themes or certain industries, right? So you may not necessarily match what they're looking for. You have to keep in mind that this is a symbiotic relationship, right? You're looking for them, they're looking for you, all right? So we want to make sure that you're fitting the theme. If there's any geographic considerations, that's taken into account. And that that you're actually part of a community. You're part of this TEDx community if that's what you're looking to step into. Okay, if possible, not a requirement, but always helpful if you know some people. Okay. The fourth thing to keep in mind: guideline considerations. You know, are you presenting an idea that might be considered political or pseudoscience? Because those are big, big no-nos in this world. It's big, big no-nos, right? So make sure that you're fitting within the guidelines. And then last but not least, yeah, my computer is all kinds of messed up today. Your packaging, your packaging. Like make sure that everything that you're putting together is all kind of like intertwined, all kinds of, it's connected in a way that, point A matches goes to point B, which goes to point C. We're not taking people on a journey into like your degree in engineering and then talking about like, the power of leadership of introverts. Okay. They're just disconnected, right? Bring it all together in a nice, succinct package. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll have exactly what you need for a standout, kick butt application. Okay, all right. So I'm so glad to have you all here today for this brand new training. Obviously, you could tell that my slides are kind of jacked up, but that's no problem. That's no problem. We're rolling with it today. But if you or somebody you know is interested in applying for coaching and looking to really get onto these stages of TED and TEDx in 2023, I invite you to fill out a form at ignite.donjfraser.com. Ignite.donjfraser.com. That's where I'll be. I've been opening up applications to the public as of today for our spring cohort, and our spring cohort is going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks for April 11th. As soon as we step into the official springtime, it is official springtime, but it doesn't feel like it with the weather. That's a whole nother thing. But if you're interested in like checking this out, we're gonna have a small group of people who are dedicated and ready to get onto these TED and TEDx stages. Okay, applications for the program are due in a couple of weeks, so check out ignite.donjfraser.com and submit those applications, because we're gonna be rocking and rolling, y'all. We're gonna be doing what? Igniting. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So thank you for checking out the site. I definitely appreciate it. Let me know if you have any type of questions, because this is your year. This is your year, y'all. I'm so thrilled to be like working with like an amazing group of people. Earlier this year, I was at TEDx Berkeley for one of our speakers who was closing it out over there, which was awesome. TEDx Fulton Street. Like, just there's just been so many people in this community who have just been like kicking butt. So make sure you check it out, ignite.donjfraser.com. And the trainings continue. The training continue. If you all have any type of questions, if you want any type of training done in these live streams, just go ahead and drop me a DM. Feel free to drop me a DM. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to see like what's on your mind, how I can support you in your journey to get onto these big stages. Okay, so let's go to the questions. Let's see here. Oh, okay. For those of you who are looking for the Facebook group, if you go into Facebook, it's Ideas That Ignite. Ideas That Ignite, the Facebook group. And that's basically where we hold all of our different trainings in one place. So you can get the trainings at the Ideas That Ignite Facebook group, or you can get them on LinkedIn, or even here on IG. Okay, so that's where you can get more information. Okay, let's see other questions over here. If you've applied before, okay, if you applied before to one place, can you apply to that same place again? Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the thing, like when I first applied to TED, it was it was something that I felt like I knew that I had like a great idea, but when I look back over my application, it was pretty disjointed. So, but the thing is, like, they might know your name. You might just be like right at the tip of being accepted. So apply again, absolutely. Like, find a way to like tweak your content, look back over this video, bookmark it if you need to, make those changes, because a lot of times people do not get accepted on that first round. They don't get accepted on that first round. Okay, so if that's your situation, definitely apply again. But then also figure out if there are other stages. So keep in mind, like, there is a high probability that if you do a kick-ass job on a TEDx stage, that's going to be promoted to the main platform, which is TED.com, right? So if people don't know, for example, that the infamous Brene Brown, her talk was recorded at TEDx Houston. That's right, TEDx Houston, before she was invited, to be on the main TED stage. Okay, it's getting a warm up in here. Woo! So that's like a key point. That is like a key point that I don't think that a lot of people even recognize, is that yes, you can go and speak at a TEDx event, and if you do a great enough job, people won't even know because it'll be on the TED.com platform. Okay. Now, in my case, I spoke at Big TED. I spoke at Big TED, but a lot of your favorite speakers, some of them have actually spoken at TEDx first. Okay. So yeah, so if you're trying to get on it, this is the time. This is the time because people are looking for you. Curators have opened their stages. They need speakers like you. Okay. So I'm super amped to be able to support a group of people. Check out ignite.donjfraser.com. Ignite. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Ignite.donjfraser.com, which gives you all the information for our program, which starts April 11th. April 11th is whoop, 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 whoop. That's right. I see you all. I see you all. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. I see you. So yeah, check that site out. If you missed today's, you can go ahead and this will be wrapping up in just a minute here. But you can go back and watch today's session. Make sure you send me a DM also because each one of these lives is curated for you. Today's session specifically came out of a session from yesterday actually, where somebody was asking me like, yo, what can I do? What can I do if I've already applied? I've already applied and my application has been denied. Okay. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you just want a little bit of more understanding, let me know. Let me know. I'm here for it. We're gonna be doing these like almost on a daily. So we got one more coming up tomorrow. Make sure you join us tomorrow. We're doing 2 sessions tomorrow. Actually, if you're on LinkedIn, you can check out LinkedIn audio. We'll be doing this in audio form. That's going to be an awesome event. You can just go to my LinkedIn profile at Dawn Fraser, DAWNFRASER on LinkedIn for that more information. And that's going to be a panel of a bunch of different speakers, curators. So that's going to be a great event. Pin the link. Oh, that's a good point. Let's see. How do I pin a link? Oh, man. Y'all are okay. Wait. No, that's not it. Sis, I'm going to have to learn how to pin a link. Oh, good comment. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out for you all on the Instagrams. You know what? I'm gonna have to play with this. I'm gonna have to play with this a little bit more. That is such a great suggestion. I'm so sorry that I don't have it. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, I'm going to, or if you're on LinkedIn, actually, then you already probably have seen the information about tomorrow's event. But it'll be like right at the top of my screen on LinkedIn. So just check me out at Dawn Fraser, same way that it is on IG. I just went ahead and posted it. Dawn Fraser on LinkedIn. Connect with me there. You'll see tomorrow's event information, as well as everything else that's popping up in the next couple of weeks. Okay. And thank you for that suggestion. I'm going to learn how to connect, how to drop a link for these bad boys because that's probably a key detail. Key detail. All right. All right. I think that is all of the questions that I see for today. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide that. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. You are all a great audience, and I'll see you tomorrow on LinkedIn, 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so check that out on my LinkedIn profile, and we'll keep on. You can't find me on LinkedIn. Send me a DM. Send me a DM, and I'll send you a personal invite. Okay. It should just be Dawn Fraser, or you can put Dawn Fraser Storyteller. Oh, my profile pic. My profile. It's me with the poofy hair. It's poofy hair. It's not the slicked out braids that I have here. It's the poofy hair. But I should be the only Dawn Fraser. I should be the only Dawn Fraser on just DAWNFRASER. All right. So you should be able to find me that way. All right. And if not, just drop me a DM and I'll be more than happy to invite you all to either my LinkedIn profile or to the Ideas That What Ignite Facebook group. All right, y'all. Have a good one.